Summer 2024. I worked on a vampire movie, codename Grilled Cheese. In 2025, that movie released under its true name. This is part one of a few stories from shooting. Hope you enjoy. Please consider liking and subscribing, sharing it with a few friends. I mean, I kind of want to go back, also because it's always fun being part of a cultural experience like that. As I said, it was one of the most diverse crews I've ever worked with, which was a breath of refreshing air. It was an original story. It was a horror film done with practical effects. It was done by a master of his craft, and a lot of the creatives are very good at their job. And I had all the faith in our local crew that we would be able to do what we needed to do to bring their vision to life. And I think we did. And hopefully they recognize that and they bring back a movie or two. Because we did work hard on it. I mean, thank them for putting a lot of our local to work and feeding a lot of families last year during a very, very, very slim time in our industry. We are all very appreciative of it. It might sound like shilling, but damn, it's a good movie. It's a good fucking movie. I was a fixtures technician and set electrician, so I did lighting and power distribution on set. Basically built and managed and installed helped install, not personally, we had a team of people that did it, all of the practical lights that you see in the movie. So all of the light bulbs, all of the street lights, all of that stuff is things that we work with the DP and the gaffer to bring their vision to life, pretty much. These are DMX universes, so all the lights we use nowadays are controllable through a lighting board. We have to be able to send signal and data to them for the dimmer board operator to do his thing. You can imagine that there's a whole networking side to the lighting that isn't really talked about when you talk about cinematography and lighting and power distribution. These are just some space lights that are inside of one of the studios. This is just one side of them. These are space lights that are full color changeable, all connected through a network. They are basically moonlight, where we can also make it daylight, but it's mainly for like ambient light, background light. Here's another photo of that. You can kind of see the exterior of the juke joint right there. We built this on a stage and shot there for many, many a night and day. One night we randomly, at probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a little dance party because we were all shooting and we were tired, and it was one of those types of crews where they just broke out into dance. It's kind of wild. That's never happened before in a movie that I've worked with. Here's a shot of the juke joint. These are all things that we work with set deck and props and the art department to develop and make sure that they're the right wattage. You usually go above in wattage so you can lower it down. This has nothing to do with IMAX, mainly to increase the warmth of light bulbs and incandescent lights. And when you're shooting film, color is very, very, very fragile medium to work with. You can use it to great lengths if you're really careful. And so using little things like this where you have a little bit of red right here and then your traditional white, I guess, your tungsten in the background, you can really use that to kind of separate characters and people on the screen. Easier to create depth in your frame because you are looking at a 2D image. One of the jobs of a cinematographer is to make it feel like you're inside of a 3D space within a 2D image. We've got these bounces up top that we would shoot 5K mole tungsten lights shooting up into these bad boys. Probably with a full house, if I remember correctly. All of them had a full house of scrims in them, which is 2 doubles and a single. And I'm pretty sure we added some double halves and single halves, pulled even more out of it when we needed to. I have worked in the film industry for about 10 years. It is a fun job. I will say that it's a very hard job. It can be very fulfilling at times. This is one of the times where it's a very fulfilling job. When you work on a movie like Sinners and it comes out to great acclaim and all of the hard work that you put into and the long nights, the lost time that you have with family, friends, relationships, all that kind of stuff, it's not necessarily worth it to lose all the time with family and relationships and stuff, but while I was a lonely fixtures technician, it does feel good for your work to be recognized and appreciated, I guess. I was a lamp operator, basically. I was literally a lamp operator when we were shooting the night stuff because my job was to make sure that whenever they needed a lantern, a digital lantern on screen, I was there to provide it and make sure that nothing went wrong. I always like to take random photos when I like the light. That's the film nerd in me coming out. Sue me. This was really nice light in here. I really liked all the lines with the verticals and the horizontals and the diagonals, and the production design did a really good job with all the different kind of layers of the sawmill that they built. Of course, I had to find the stinger, which is what we call extension cords. The stinger that says "Do not unplug." There were some beautiful sunsets and sunrises, you can imagine. Every day when we were shooting nights, we go into work at 4 or 5 p.m. and we get out at 7 or 8 a.m. kind of thing. Seeing movies done practically before, like right at the cusp of visual effects coming in and really taking over. It's refreshing to work on a film that had this much practical effects going for it. Every bullet hole is pre-planned when it comes to shows like this, because you have to realize that everything inside of these 4 frames is planned when it comes to making movies. I won't say nothing, rarely anything happens by accident inside of those 4 frames when you're watching a movie. Documentaries aside, reality TV aside, don't get me started on them. We shoot takes of every shot, right? And so in order to be able to recreate the shot consistently, to be able to create the vision that the director, the cinematographer, and the production designer all kind of have, you have to be able, because things happen, it never happens on the first take. Nothing ever happens on when you try the first time.
A few moments later.
I'm pretty sure they only did this once, because this is a very expensive thing to do, as you can imagine, building out an entire car that's getting shot up and blown up. I'm assuming they only did this once. Might have had it in the budget to do it twice if they didn't want to, but you also got to realize that they shot it in slow motion. You shoot more film when you shoot high speed, because if you think about it, you're capturing more frames per second, and then when you play it back at a slower rate, it becomes slower because you're playing back less frames at the same rate that it was captured. Hopefully that makes sense. This is a very expensive shot. This is basically all I'm saying. Very, very expensive shot. Super fucking cool though. Super cool. Here's like a layout of how they do it. Those are all numbered. They, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then all these go into like controllers. The special effects crew that did this, Spectrum Effects, shout out. They just released, they're releasing some behind the scenes stuff on their Instagram that is like the building of how they did all of this kind of stuff and all of their squib shots. And that's one thing I really appreciate about how this film was made, was a lot of it was done practically in camera.
One, action!
A lot of the time for glass, when we are shooting guns and things like that, and there's like a pane of glass in the background, they will actually take a spitball from elementary school, and they have specialized paintball bullets that they can shoot into a window that make it look like bullet holes in glass. The technology that's developed from the film industry to make shit look real is crazy. Oh, that's our AD, Marvin. Marvin was the man. Marvin had work ethic like I had never seen before. The assistant directors are thankless department a lot of the time. They are the schedulers. They are the keepers of the clock. Have a stressful job. They are the ones who are usually blamed if we go over time or over schedule. And it's their job to make sure that all the actors are where they need to be. They're the puzzle masters. In addition to the producers. The producers are also puzzle masters as well. I would say they're the more the puzzle keepers than the puzzle masters. And then the ADs are the puzzle masters that then organize and make sure that the machine can run the way it needs to run in order to make a movie a movie. This is a lighting box. This was the main moon. I think it was 6x6. So I think this had 36 Vortex 8s in it, which are all RGB controllable. We number all of these. They have a network number inside of our network. This is the downside of the smaller moonlight that we use. Auroras, yeah. It's just a bunch of little lights inside of a big light. It's an aurora. It's Aurora. You can see the rigging crew rigged up all the ballasts up here, which is dope and nice. They had a little platform made, and this is on what's called a pettibone. That's usually used to lift up materials to high places in construction sites, but we don't use them for that. We don't use a lot of things for their intentioned purpose in the film industry. It all goes back to those 4 little walls. If it's not in those 4 little walls, who cares? Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for part 2. Make sure you like and subscribe.